Yo, everybody, what's up? Welcome to Tutu on Happiness, episode 3. I'm here with my boy, Better Nate Than Never.
Hey yo, what up? How you doing, everybody?
Hey, yo, never say never unless you're better Nate than never, then say never and do whatever. You know what I'm saying, bro?
Bars.
Anyway, guys, so welcome to episode 3. The topic of today's podcast is the dark side of judgment. Now, this is something that I've been thinking about for a long time. It's something that I've been practicing for many years. And, you know, Ricky, when you think about judgment, like, what comes to your mind? Like, how does it make you feel when you judge other people? Like, do you feel like this sense of like, oh shit, like, I know what's best, that person don't know shit. Like, how do you feel?
Yeah, like it's something that I try to minimize because like I feel like the more I do it, the more I notice it, or like the more I see people are doing it to me, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there was a time a while ago where I just felt that my judging of other people kind of creates that thought in me that people do about me, you know, and then I'd get very insecure and very like worried about what people thought of me, and I realized that, you know, I need to, like, the less I do it, the less I'll do it to other people. So it's something I try to do less of, you know, like maybe 6 years ago I was very much like, oh, look at that guy's outfit, did he even try, or like this or that.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, I started being worried, people worry about my outfits, like, you know.
Okay, so my man's just like pretty much hit it like right on the head. So something that I noticed about judgment like many years ago is that like it can feel like really good, and like you can get this sense of, you know, ego gratification and superiority, like, you know, from like judging other people. It's just like, yo, I got more money than that person, fuck that guy. You know, I'm better, I'm the best, baby. It can come like from so many like different places. I'd say the most common ones are like if you feel like you are wealthier than other people, or if it's like in spaces around skills that you have. So like one example from my life is in poker. Like back in them days, you know, I'd play in, you know, environments where I was like one of the best players, and then, you know, I would then just gain this like huge sense of like, yo, I'm the best, I'm better than these people. It it's almost like this fuel that just makes me feel like these people are shit and I'm just the best, I'm better. And like you get on this like pedestal and you feel like so dope about yourself, and it's just like you're looking down upon these other people, and it feels great in the moment. But like the flip side of that is like it actually creates this huge inferiority complex in different situations. So I can say specific to like my experience in poker, it's like, or like, you know, when you're judging people like, oh, did this guy even try like with the swag or whatever, it's like, yeah, it's all good when you're at the top of that pedestal and you're like judging people and you're just like, yo, I'm better, and you feel great about that. But like, this is the world, homeboy. There's 8 billion people out here. Like, you're gonna encounter someone that's like doing it better than you are. You know what I'm saying? And like, fuck, this hit me so hard because it's like, so there's this like poker event called the World Poker Tour, and they have a stop in South Africa. So when this like stop came to South Africa, a lot of like international professionals came through, people that I admired, like basically poker celebrities. And you know, in my circles, I'm just like acting like all like, oh, fucking macho man, like I'm the best, I'm better than you, don't even look at me, I'm gonna beat you, I'm gonna take your money. But then like when I got around these other people, like I remember I got an opportunity to go to dinner with some of these like very like high profile poker people, celebrities, you know, people I've watched on TV.
Were they players, like professional poker players that you're talking about right now?
Yeah, so like a combination of professional poker players and like hosts and commentators.
Okay.
Dude, and it was the craziest thing because it's like in my small circles I felt like so cool and so superior, but now hanging out with them, immediately I felt like so small and inferior. Like I started acting like very strange, and I just realized in that moment that like I had pedestalized these people to the point where I felt so inferior that I didn't feel like an equal human being to them. And all this stemmed from me feeling like I was better than other people in a different situation. So there's so many situations where this shows up in people's lives. For instance, like, I think wealth is a very common one. You know, you're driving on the streets, you see a beggar, you're just like, oh, fucking beggar, this guy didn't go to school, whatever. And then, like, you encounter someone that's much wealthier than you, and immediately that sense of inferiority comes upon you. And, like, you know, like, you can maybe, like, isolate yourself and put yourself into situations where you aren't gonna face that, like, internal sense of insecurity and inferiority, but, like, ultimately at some point you're gonna experience it, whether it's you're on Instagram or whatever it is. And for me, this was a very difficult thing to deal with, because, yeah, like, when the judgment came, it's like, oh, I'm, like, you know, treating these people like I'm not equal with them, like I'm better than you, so it's like making me feel better coming from a place of insecurity. And then when I'm around people that are objectively doing better than me, that I should otherwise admire, I feel like inferior and I feel like I have to try. So to me, the obvious solution is to drop judgment. And the question is, how do you then drop judgment? Like, because it becomes something that's so ingrained in your, like, persona and your being. Like
things like gossiping and things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's almost like a drug, you know. It just makes you feel like better. And, you know, something I realize is, like, you know, and everyone's gonna be like, oh, all people are equal. It's like the set of circumstances that led you to where you are like very unique. So when you're walking on the street and there's like some guy that's like begging, or, you know, there's a, you know, like this is just South Africa, like you go to Parkhurst or whatever, it's just like there's people on the street. Instead of like judging that person, you're like, oh, they're addicted to drugs. You gotta understand that they're like a certain like amount of causes and effects that added up to that person being who they are. And like your causes and effects are different. And the people that are ahead of you in life, so to speak, their causes and effects are different as well. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's like when you're looking at people that are ahead of you, or people that have these accolades that you wish you had, or it's like, oh, people that are richer than you, rather than like feeling inferior to them, it's a powerful thing to realize that they have a like different life story, like different things that happen in their lives to get them to where they are. And it doesn't mean that intrinsically that person's worth more than you. It just means that they've got a different set of circumstances that led them to where they are. And vice versa, it's like the person that's on the street, like whether it be someone that's a drug addict, or like just whatever it is that like you're judging, even if it's just like, oh, the way my friend spends their money, or the way this person is sexually promiscuous, whatever, like this just comes down to your own personal values, you know, whatever. None of this matters. Like, oh, like I judge overweight people because I'm in the gym, but then like you see people that are like killing it in the gym that are way better than you. So it's like when you see those other people that are like that you perceive as less than you, that you perceive that you're better than, that you're making more righteous decisions than, it's just important to realize that intrinsically their value as a human being is the same as yours. And the way you come to that realization is that like the set of circumstances that led them to the place that they are, the decisions that they've had to make, the influences that they've had to deal with, you don't know what's happened in that person's family life. You don't know where they grew up. You don't know what support structures they had when they were kids. You don't know like what abuses and traumas they've been through. Like there's so much that makes up any individual human being that it's very difficult to like judge someone for where they are, judge someone for what decisions they're making. So really, it's like once you learn to drop that, and I'm not saying it's easy, but it's like once you like start like cultivating that mindset, almost automatically the opposite falls away. So you know how earlier I was saying how I used to feel superior in poker to these people, and then inferior to like people that were better than me. It's like now I'm at a point where it's like you know, pretty much anyone in life, like whether it's someone that's like has way lower like financial assets than me, or like they are like beginners in poker or whatever, I literally just like treat them as equal people. Unless someone's totally misaligned with your values, it doesn't mean you have to like judge someone that's misaligned with your values. You can just simply like respect yourself and create a boundary and not be around those people. But like judging them, it's like, who are you to judge them? You don't know what that person's been through. And then subsequently, what's started happening in my life is like I've had the opportunity to hang out around some like really successful people, and you know, like when I'm sitting literally next to someone that's like extremely wealthy, like maybe a billionaire, or like an extremely accomplished like poker player or something like that, you know, I feel like completely at ease with myself because I know who I am. And you know, I understand that this person's a person. They've got their own they've got things in their life that they struggle with, and they've got like areas of their life that they're extremely successful in. So I think fundamentally what needs to happen, or at least what's happened with me, is that you just need to start comparing yourself to yourself. So it's like, I like to say that I am the best in the world at being me. You know what I'm saying? And like, I feel like that should be everyone's number one goal. It's like, how does Ricky become the best at the world at being Ricky? You know what I'm saying? Because like, you can't be a better Tutu than Tutu. You know what I'm saying? But this isn't to say that you shouldn't like see things in people where you're like, oh shit, like I don't like that. Like you can start to use your like judgment as a tool or guidepost. So like when you see things in people that like you're maybe tempted to like judge or feel like you're like, you know, on a pedestal to them, like you can kind of use that as an indicator to be like, oh, actually that's something that is misaligned with me, and that's something that maybe I can look into my own life and be like, okay, where does this exist in my own life, and how can I purge this out of my life? Because when I see that in someone else, it creates this like feeling in myself, and it creates this feeling in myself. It like makes me, you know, it makes me like resentful or resistant, and it makes me feel like, oh no, that person does too many drugs, oh that person's a drinker, oh this person's cheating on their spouse, like, oh I'd never do that. It's like, instead of thinking like that, just use those feelings as indicators to be like, okay, cool, this is stuff that's misaligned with me. How do I then create boundaries to those experiences rather than judging people for where they are? I can't control them. How do I then look at my life and like get that out of my ecosystem to make me a happier and more wholesome person? Because again, like when this is almost like the gratitude thing. It's like,
I was gonna say, is this the exercise you'd say that people should do in terms of what you say with the gratitude, as opposed to looking at what you don't have, like appreciate what you do have, and then it will slowly work itself out? Would you say this is the same kind of?
Yeah, it's very similar. It's almost like it's like look at the things that you instead of like judging people and focusing on their negative points, just like realize that that's stuff that you want to like get out of your own personal ecosystem. And then subsequently, this doesn't mean that you shouldn't admire other people's accolades that are doing better than you. So for instance, if you admire someone because they've achieved a high degree of success in some sort of field, like maybe like now you're chilling with you know, Flying Lotus, or like your favorite like music producer, you know, instead of just being like, oh, we're 100% equal, like whatever, it's like, it's good to feel like that, because intrinsically as a human being, your worth is the same. But this doesn't mean that you shouldn't then admire people or strive to be better in certain areas of your life. So now, like if I'm sitting with someone that's like got characteristics that I want to embody, I use that thing that would have maybe previously made me feel inferior as a point of admiration and a signpost to be like, oh, that's something that I want to cultivate in my life. So on the quote-unquote negative side, that's something that I don't want in my life. I'm going to look for where that is in my life and create boundaries to that thing. And then like when I see people like, oh, that person's got a lot of financial success, and you know, I used to feel insecure around people that are financially successful because deep down inside I want financial success. That's an indicator that like, oh, maybe that's something that I want to cultivate in my personality. Oh, that person's like very charming, and you know, he's got a lot of friends, or she's got a lot of friends, or whatever it is, and you know, maybe previously that would have made me feel insecure, but now I'm like, oh, that's actually something that I want to develop in myself, because that person somehow developed that characteristic. So once you understand these two things, you're like, okay, I don't want this and I do want this. How can I then be the best version of myself from where I am sitting right now? You know what I'm saying? And yeah, like life isn't perfect. The number one thing I'd say in a situation like this would be to just keep trying. It's like compare, like if you want to judge yourself or if you want to judge anything, just compare yourself to the person that you were yesterday, the person that you were a week ago, the person that you were a month ago, the person that you were a year ago, the person that you were 10 years ago. So it's like, okay, cool, this is the person that I want to be. These are the characteristics that I want to like cultivate, It's like, I can't compare myself to your journey, Ricky. Like, that wouldn't make any sense. And it's like, even if you want to do better and like you wake up tomorrow and you doing worse than you did a week ago, that's okay. Just wake up and try again tomorrow, because at the end of the day, like, life just goes on. The sun rises, the sun sets, and we just got to keep on keeping on. You know what I'm saying? So Ricky, before we finish up, is there anything that you want to add? Do you have any examples in your life where maybe you've, besides the fashion one that you made, maybe more specific ones of where you've felt that sense of superiority, and then it's shown its ugly side and become a sense of inferiority?
Definitely in music production. So when you get, because you obviously there's always a cheer list that you're going up in terms of whatever you're doing, whatever. I think whatever artistic endeavor you're going for, obviously the more you do it, the better you get at it, and the better your work comes out. So there are points where you think you've reached certain milestones, and you're like, okay, I'm here now, you now hear someone else's music, and you're like, you can't even touch me, and But then the ugly side of it is now someone plays you their music and they're really good, and you're like, I'll never achieve that, and it can even affect you so negatively that you don't want to make music anymore. Mm-hmm. I've seen that happen with other people as well. So even when I do that for someone and then they feel very down, I tell them it's just put more work into it. I try to encourage them still regardless, because I can see the insecurity that I used to have.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, that's a very good example on my side of the thing I can think of when you brought the topic up.
Yeah, 100%. So I'd say, just to conclude, some key practices, and I think number one is first notice and just become aware. Become aware of when you are using judgment to make yourself feel better, to ego gratify yourself, and to feel like you're on a pedestal to other people. And when you feel that way, just realize where it's coming from. Remember that everyone's had a different path in life. Think oh, do I want to create a boundary to this thing? Number one. And when you feel that sense of inferiority, then remind yourself, be kind to yourself, and remind yourself that I've had a different journey to this person. I admire this in this person, and how can I then take the steps within my own personal journey to cultivate these things that I value, obviously, in this person, while realizing that intrinsically we are all the same. So I think that's where we're going to end it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this this episode of Tutu on Happiness, episode 3. Shout out to my boy Ricky. Shout out to you guys for listening. Much love. You guys have everything that you need within you to be happy. You the best, you the greatest, and we love you.